can't stop thinking about you. Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Hello, everyone. How you doing today? Happy Friday for everybody. My name is Freddy Piedrahita, and we're here once again in this. Well, this is the first one in a long time that I have made in English. So bear with me, and I hope you guys come back. And if you listen to or watch our shows in Spanish, and you want to watch this one, welcome. And if you're not, then welcome here, and so you can share this information with everybody. And United Voices is created with the hope that we all can unite our voices and promote well-being and community and good causes and everything that is going to help us grow as a community. Um, I have with me today Gisela Menjivar, and she is the owner and founder of Roaring Future, and we're going to talk about finances. Hello, Gisela. How you doing today?
It's a pleasure to be here, Freddie. I'm very excited to be part of this great movement that you're creating right now.
Well, we both are creating a great movement, and we believe deeply in what we're doing with our community, with our bilingual community, and with anybody. Because the
Yeah,
community involves every person from every walk of life and from every ethnicity, and everybody is welcome here with us. So that's why we're saying United Voices. There's only one voice, and we're
love
going
it.
we're gonna put them together. I love
I,
that lion. It's very Your background is really powerful. Thank you. You're
thank
projecting a lot
you.
of power there.
It is. It's growing future. That's exactly what we're all about.
Yes, and tell me, well, I was going to ask you this question when we did our show in Spanish a couple of days ago, but I'm going to ask you that right here, right now. And where did you come up with your business? How did you come up with this roaring future? Like I said, it's very, very powerful, and it says a lot. I mean, it's like you're empowering people with just that name.
I'll make a long story short, but it is a very significant time of my life. I've been in the financial services for 19 years. And 5 years ago, I was trying to bring financial education as a whole to the community schools. So I knew a lot of people that were in the legislative movement, and I tried to actually put a bill together to bring financial classes into the schools. And a very good friend of mine, after much battling, said to me, "Listen, I'm going to be quite honest with you. It's hard to put a bill through. The politics of it is going to be tough. I mean, once you even got it through Sacramento and all that, you still have to put it through the LAUSD. And that's going to take another years." And I said, "Oh my gosh." And, I had seen through obviously my meetups and meetings with families how much we really don't know about finance. I mean, there's such a lack of financial literacy in parents today. And because they don't know, the children don't know, and therefore it's a cycle. And I thought, well, why don't we just start from the schools? And so I was talking a lot in schools, I was talking to a lot of parent groups, and they all were in agreement of doing this. But like I said, it was just going to be an impossibility because this would take too long. So I said, you know what? I was literally sitting on my kitchen table with my family. True story. And I was looking at the TV, and I love my daughter loves animal shows.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of nature shows and of Animal Planet and there's the Pride Lands. And I thought to myself, and I was totally thinking about what I was going to do next in this project. And I said, you know what? I said, I think I need to do this. I need to bring this out myself. I am in control. I can bring in this education, and not just financial literacy, but also leadership and also empowerment into having your own business, because I believe that the younger generation needs to also think of themselves as business individuals, as individuals that don't have to work 9 to 5 for the rest of their life. They can start like that, gain the experience, but they should have ambition, Freddie. They should have higher goals. And so that's how Roaring Future, that day in front of Animal Planet with Nadia, my husband, and my oldest daughter around, I came up with this lion perspective. That was the first image. And then I said future for what I wanted to create for the newest generation. And I wanted to roar like the lion behind me. So that's how Roaring Future. Literally, nobody's ever asked me that question. You're the first one for me to really disclose how Roaring Future came. But
Well, you
that's
know what? It's probably because I feel that we're in the same page. And look at, I mean, united voices, voices. Your voice is powerful,
how.
and you roaring, that's powerful. I mean, and, we don't really understand, and we sometimes we don't really realize how powerful our voices can be, and how powerful you say you try to put a bill up there and everything, but it's really hard to do that. But I bet you that if instead of Gisela Menjivar coming over with a bill or a proposal or something, you were backed up by a whole bunch of different signatures and voices and a big community, that bill probably would have been a reality. But the thing is that there you are creating, and you're creating, and you're moving forward, and you already, like a lot of times we want to do things in life, we want to grow, but we don't move forward because we're afraid of what people are gonna say or a whole bunch of other things. And but once we start that movement, we start moving forward. We need to put that in our minds that we already won. We already won because we took action. And that's what we're
Yes.
doing here. We're taking action, and we want to invite you, members of our community, like I mentioned, no matter what your ethnicity, your level of education, or who you are, you have a voice, and you can roar with us. You can have a roaring future if you get educated. And I want to say thank you, Alvaro, for being here. Alvaro is one of our followers. He listens all the time. Every time he has a chance to be here with us, whether in Spanish or English, he's here. Thank you, Alvaro, for your support. And all those other people that are here, if you're here and you're watching us, or if you want to write down where you're watching us from, and if you have any questions, you're welcome. Okay, with that said, before we move on to the financial, and basically on this first show, what we want to let the audience know is that we're gonna be here. We're gonna be here whether through this program with Freddy Piedraita or with Gisela Menjivar. She has her course as well. So here's the point. Here's what we're gonna let you guys know is that we're gonna be here. We're gonna do our best because we get a lot of commitments, and we have a lot of other things to do. We have to support our families, and we have to do these things. But this is a commitment that we want to do because we're doing this, yes, of course, to promote our business, to put ourselves out there, to be with you. But mainly, we do this because we want to educate or be able to share. Not so much education, because I don't feel that I will be that educator. I'm not that expert. That's why I have an expert here. But we have that desire to help and bring value to our community. So we're gonna be here. But I wanted to ask, and Spanish already we already did that. But for those people who don't know, Gisela mentioned her daughter, and when they took this, and she loves animals. But I want to ask you if you let us know. Nadia is your daughter, and she is has a medical condition. And if you guys just listen to us for 1 minute until Gisela just tell us a little bit about Nadia and how you, as a member of our community, can just help us put the word out there. And by praying, you're already helping us. So, Gisela, go ahead, tell us a little bit about Nadia.
So Nadia is my 21-year-old, and 2 years ago, she was diagnosed with stage 5 kidney disease. She's in need of a kidney transplant. She's part of UNOS, which is a organization that helps find kidney organs, actually, for individuals who have a dire need for them to continue to live. So she is a fighter. My daughter Nadia, you can follow her at Pray for Nadia. She has her own website and Instagram and also Facebook group. I want to thank everyone who's praying for us, but we are needing someone who would like to be a kidney donor for my 21-year-old. Anyone from the ages of 25 to 55, I would say is preferable, maybe younger, only because she's young and we would like to allow her the ability to have a kidney for a long period of time. We are doing it through UCLA, so it's uclakidneydonor.org. You can go in there and they will provide for you all the facilities for you to try to see if you could be a donor match. And it's you can live on one kidney, just so everybody knows. Unfortunately, Nadia only is on 8% of functionality from both kidneys. So it is a very important moment in our lives right now for us to find a donor, Freddie. We are desperately looking for one. She's 21 years old, my little girl, but she's the most positive little girl you could ever meet. She's a big believer of faith. God keeps her here with us every day, and we are just so grateful to have her. It's a blessing. You don't know what value that life has until you go through what I'm going through.
Yes, yes. We're with you right there. And we'll continue praying for Nadia. And you're right. It's not because she's your daughter, but I don't have the, you know, what do you say? I can't say that I have the pleasure of meeting her in person yet, but I've had some programs where I interview her, I talk to her, she sang for us. She's wonderful. She has this positive attitude. She's every weekend or every Saturday she's on Facebook doing her lives, selling clothes and jewelry and things like that. So she's very active and beautiful. Thank you, thank you. And Nadia deserves a chance. So please, if you can help us put the word out and just share as much as you can, you will be doing a great favor. And on top of that, if you can pray for Nadia, we will appreciate it, like Gisela said. Okay, with that said, now we're just going to move on to the financial part. And here is the thing, I asked you a question the other day in Spanish, and I'm going to ask you the same question. What if I was a person, I'm a 60-year-old person, I never took advantage or never really thought about saving money. I'm an immigrant here in the United States, and I think that a lot of immigrants are going to kind of identify. They're going to what do you say? I mean, they're going to understand my point and what I'm trying to say. I came here to this country, worked really hard, and was able to, at a certain point, achieve certain level of success. As you can say, I bought some properties and everything, but 2007 came by and the crash, real estate crash came in, and the bank crash and all these things, and I lost everything I had, and I was homeless. Now I'm 60, and I'm trying to recover from that. So my future, my retirement is not really there. I've been an independent contractor for over 20 years. So I didn't have an IRA or a 401k or anything like that. So if right now a 60-year-old man like me, myself, come to you and I say, I didn't plan for retirement. I didn't plan for this. What can I do? How would you talk to me, or what would you say to me?
It's regrettable, right, that a lot of people find themselves in your position. And if you're listening to this and you're going, yeah, that's me, that's me, I want you to know that you're not alone. And I wish that I had known you 20 years ago. However,
Mm-hmm.
you don't throw in the towel in regards to finance,
Right.
because our life expectancy is unknown. And no matter what, we got to continue to live. And life costs money. Life needs preparation. And perhaps you are able to do what you couldn't complete in 20 years of your life, you could probably do in 10 years. So the answer to that question, Freddie, is really a full financial analysis. Someplace in there, there's got to be a real look at where you stand. It's a case by case. Not everybody's case is the same. I do a full financial needs analysis that tells me how much debt do you have, because that's a big problem, obviously, for many people at any age. What kind of protection of assets do you require? Do you own a business? Do you own a home? What have you been able to have and obtain and own in the last years of your life that you still will need to protect in the following years of your life? What kind of final expense do you have, meaning in regards to funeral expense? I find a lot of individuals that, although they know that they will not be able to save a lot for retirement because they only have less than 10 years to go, there's still that huge expense of funeral payments. We all are going to pass away at some point, and the more years that we take to do that, the more the inflation will hit the cost. So that's another part that we need to discuss. Long-term care is another big one for your age group, Freddie. LTC is the care for someone once they're older. I'm talking about if someone develops a chronic or critical disease that debilitates the body, or just simply old age, right? The last 3, 5 years of qualified care at home, nursing, skilled nursing, facility care, all that entails into a long-term care. You need an adequate a diagnosis of what it is that you're going to be requiring. And all of that is money. Long term care tends to be the reason that a lot of people go bankrupt, not just the individual that is in the 60s, but the family. And I would say to anyone that is reaching that age, it's not us that we should be worried about ourselves. We have to know that it affects everyone around us.
Hmm.
That's a very important part of talking with me, is that I do like to include the whole family, because kids will take care of their parents, at least decent kids, right? They will do whatever they can. Maybe not monetarily because they don't have it, but at least they'll try to give their time, right? That's just, especially in our community, in the Hispanic community, there's that, responsibility, right, for our parents. So it includes everyone. The taking care of ourselves later will include. This is why we need to prepare for that. What can we do? Meet with us, with me, with an agent that is licensed, obviously, and discuss where you are at. I can assure you there are ways that you can start putting at least $100 down into a plan that can help create some equity. Equity is interest. And so many times, because we lack financial literacy, we don't understand how money works and grows, right? It's never taught. We learn the equations of algebra and geometry and all that other stuff that, I don't know, I never used it, to be quite honest with you. I wasn't a scientist or an engineer, but we don't learn common sense, rule of 72, which is the compound building of interest. So even though a person can start late, Freddie, if they put it into something that's protected, some of them have even guaranteed floors where there's no, even on a downturn of the market, you still make money. Well, you can duplicate your money in a certain amount of time. So there's still hope. There's definitely hope for that, Freddie. There's definitely hope.
Well, that's great. That's great to hear because hope is the last thing that you have to give up. And and while there is hope, there's life. There is something you can do. And it's and I see the light at the end of the tunnel, because one of the things that we need to do, and well, that'll be a different show. That'll be something else that I'll be talking to you guys about. Is about how to take care of this one, what is between our ears, and how to really start functioning and start feeling emotionally balanced. Because the thing here is that a lot of times we start, and I've been doing a lot of research lately about this because I find myself in that point, and I want to show people what I experience and how I've been able to do that. Sometimes I put myself on the edge to be able to see how to do these things so I can come over and pass it on to other people. And life keeps presenting us. Sometimes we don't have to put ourselves on the edge. Life itself put us there. And there we
That's right.
have to be, we have to live from there, because there is only like two sides of the coin. But if we live on the edge and we're able to see how we're going to be either way or another, we're more flexible. And a lot of people think that because they're in their 60s, um, it's too late to do something. It's too late. And now the question here is like, I'm 60. I don't have a job that is bringing me tons of money. The job that I have I'm barely making it. How can I start educating myself in a way that I can really hope for, start nurturing that hope, start doing those things and come over to you. A couple, going back a couple, maybe 3, 4 years ago, before the pandemic, we wanted to do this financial education with my wife because it's been going on for a while. So we went to a financial planner, a financial advisor. And I said, okay, isn't it true that in order for me to be able to put some money aside, I have to bring in more money or cut down on my expenses? Right now, I'm expending more than what I am bringing. Am I in a good position to do that? Now, I ask you the same question. A person that is already barely making it, they have a lot of debt, but they're not they're not even making enough to cover. They're already in the negative on a monthly basis. How could they start getting out of that hole?
So this debt is probably the problem, number one, for most families. Because you are short in money, you tend to put things on credit, right? This idea that is our emergency fund tends to be a big deal in the middle class. So I have part of our financial needs analysis, a department that handles debt analysis. We are with this idea, Freddie, that although you may find yourself in the worst position, right? You have totally made a decision somehow internally, like, I don't know how you're going to help me, kind of thing, right? Because you have tried it probably on your own. But when you speak to a professional, we have may have access to solutions to the overall daily problem. So you mentioned them. One is debt. Decreasing the debt might be a good point. How do you do that? Debt negotiation. The picture that you're painting is probably someone that's one step, before taking a leap down bankruptcy court. It all depends, right? Like exactly how bad is the situation that we're going through. Second is, I feel that financial planning, financial services as we do, doesn't ultimately always have to deal with you putting in money into something, if I
Hmm.
make sense. There's always this idea, well, I'm going to have to spend, right?
Right.
um, I always say, look, it's financial services, financial planning is also, I have something to protect. So if there is a protection that we need to be very wary about, is if you do all have a business, if you do have real estate, if you do have children, right? If you do have a spouse, those people and assets need to be protected in every shape or form. Some of the protections that we offer is, of course, through estate planning. Estate planning is putting things in writing, making sure that you're leaving things, in order. I had a case very long time ago. A brother of a client of mine passed away. He called me to tell me, you need to help my brother's wife because she finds herself in a really sticky situation. His brother was always the man of the house, right? And he did
Hmm.
all the finances. She had no clue. She was not on the business account. She was not on the house. She was not anywhere. But yet they were a couple. And so he's like, I don't know what to do. She's crying was kind of how he put it. He goes,
Hmm.
I don't know what to tell her. I don't know any of this. You got to help her. So long story short, big lesson learned. That's the kind of stuff that you need to make sure that you protect, because it's not about, okay, how much do I have to give you? Well, let's look at a full analysis. Let's protect, first of all, what you do have, right? Let's put things in writing, and then let's make sure we do get out of debt. That's what may be preventing you from saving. And then, thirdly, one that is non negotiable. Let me tell you what's non negotiable. What's non negotiable is that you must have a final expense. You must.
Hmm.
Because one thing is certain: death and taxes. And so Taxes we know, death we are not ready for. And unfortunately, a lot of people will actually pass away unexpectedly or, in transition, and not have money for the funeral. And that is unacceptable. We have a duty to our family to not put them through that. That is not right, guys, because if we work so hard in the daily, and we still cannot put a little bit down just to make sure that no one's trying to put a tin can or putting up a poster, and going to organizations for assistance. We should be able to be responsible for that, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. This assumption that this is going to cost me $500 a month, this is not a car payment. Let me tell you, it's not. This is less than that. It's probably even sometimes less than your cable bill. Okay? That's how affordable it is to make sure that you are not leaving your family behind. So that would be my recommendation. We need to do what we got to do with whatever situation that you're in.
That's you're absolutely right, and we're talking. And remember, when I started talking about this in the beginning of the show, we mentioned people about our age, and that's because that's when we really start kind of worrying about it. I mentioned that I'm doing
Yeah.
some research right now because we go start going through some midlife crisis, and we start worrying about things that we didn't worry when we were 30, 40, maybe 25 years, because we thought that we were not gonna get to this point. And now that we're here, we say we regret, and I try not to use the word regret, because I can't be regretting or crying or lamenting for the past. I have to start doing something. And here is the thing: that's where we need to change our mindset. And like Gisela just mentioned, we owe it to ourselves. It's our responsibility. Just do it for. I mean, a lot. Let me back up a little bit, because see, I most of what I talk about all the time and what I believe. I'm not going to talk about other things that I don't believe. I believe that you gotta do the things for yourself first. A lot of people say, I do this for my family, for my wife, for my kids, for this, for that. But the point is that if you're not able to help yourself, to see yourself in a situation and help yourself first, you won't be able to help anybody else. And our belief in our Latino culture is like, oh, that's being selfish. You're being selfish because you're taking care of yourself first. Well, you gotta be healthy. You gotta feel good. If I want to be contagious and show you how to be happy, I have to be happy.
Hmm.
That's the way it is. And when we really start changing that and understanding that that's our duty, that's our that might be part of our purpose in life. And when we understand that, these things start making more sense. So right here at United Voices, with Gisela, with myself, and other professionals, we're going to share with you either from my point of view. As a, I have a podcast, and I want to invite you right now. I just created that podcast that is called it's called Odyssey of a Loser, and the name it might be controversial, but it's Odyssey of a Loser because I saw myself for so many years as a loser, as a person that I was in drugs, alcohol, dancing, failing in different relationships, having kids here and there. And then I started changing my mind. And then when I finally hit bottom, but that time I hit it really bad. And it was in the mid ages, when I was in mid 60s, almost like 46. That pain, that agony, that feeling that you have in your stomach is not going to let you be happy or make anybody happy. So you need to change yourself. And the change is, there is a woman in Spanish, her name is Margarita Pasos, and she says the changes are like an L shape. They're from up to bottom, from here to here, and from here out. So the changes are from the inside out. And once you start and decide to really change your life and become that person and do the things and die happy, and like Gisela said, I can bet you that you can, for less than a six pack of beer on a month or a case of 24 beers per month, you can buy something that you can at least when you when you croak,
Yeah.
when you when you leave, then
Yes.
your family doesn't have to go through all this, putting a little box on a store saying, help us to bury my dad or
Hmm.
bury my husband, or start putting ads somewhere to be able to help. Just think about it. You want to see your family once you pass away, you want to see them there? No, just at least start taking care of that right now. And just by doing that, I feel myself that just by doing that, I'm moving forward and I'm
Right.
already a winner. I'm already getting there.
And that's
So,
exactly, Freddie, how I wanted you to feel. Because when someone in the age group that you mentioned feels that I've come to a point where I wasn't ready, I didn't do what I was supposed to. I mean, I get it.
mhm.
I've had that expressed to me before. It's very common. I at least say, hey, wait a minute. No, no, no. You're not done yet. There's still more we got to do. And then they come back and they go like, you know what? At least this way I'm winning. At this way I'm doing something beneficial. I'm not going to be a burden. I'm doing something that I didn't think about doing before. Thank you. And that's what it's about. It's about sitting down with somebody and going over it. And I hope this is a good lesson if you're listening here to also talk to your children. If you have 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds, because usually that's the age group, 50, have 20, 30-year-olds, think about this. You need to talk to them, because here's the deal. If we do not talk to our kids, our young adults or those that have children already, guess what's happening? The cycle. And you and I were talking about that earlier, how we just got to break this cycle. Robert Kiyosaki always says, our system is designed to create this cycle of poverty.
Mhm.
We have
Mhm.
to change it. And life insurance, just FYI, September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. If you research life insurance, income tax free benefit, the ability to leave money behind for your family for many multiple things, it's a legacy builder. And that's what wealthier people always have in the millions. The more assets they acquire, the more millions of dollars. As a matter of fact, Freddie, there's something called premium financing where there's banking is specifically made so that people can host 10, 20, 30 million dollar policies. Companies have 30, 50, $100 million policies to cover themselves.
Mhm.
Income tax. We need to bring that to our population. So ours is only 25, 10, 50, 20, 100,000, but we got to have it. We got to participate in it.
Of course. There is there. There is it is there. So we just need to take advantage of that. And
Yeah.
we're here heading toward the last part of the show, but this is not it, people. We're gonna have more of this coming. We're gonna work it out. We'll let you know, but we're gonna have more information. Meanwhile, if you guys need to have you have any questions, you're welcome to ask them to Gisela. I'm gonna put right here Gisela's information, roaringfuture.com. I'm gonna have that. You've been seeing it there in the bottom of the screen. But also, I'm so glad, Gisela, that you mentioned this. You mentioned breaking the cycle, and I'm gonna take this moment to invite, and I would like to invite you as well because I'm gonna put a master class together pretty soon that is precisely about breaking the cycle. By my cycle, the cycle that I'm talking about is giving up that struggle, giving up that pain, breaking that cycle to become somebody else. Like I mentioned, the caterpillar needs to break out of the caterpillar womb to become a butterfly. We need to break this cycle. We need to break the mold that we put ourselves into it to become somebody else. And if what we see and what we're doing is not working, we gotta change the formula. You know, the meaning of insanity is like doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. If we don't want to do that, if we continue doing what we're doing and it's not working, if it's working, congratulations. But if it's not and you're feeling that anguish, I'm going to have a master class with you where we're gonna start breaking that cycle, start breaking that mold, because I did it. That's why I'm going to create it. And I would like to invite Gisela to put something like that. This masterclass where we're gonna break that cycle and we're gonna help you so you can start moving forward mentally, emotionally, and financially. So stay away, stay tuned for that. And Gisela, thank you. I want to say thank you to Alvaro. I want to say thank you to Bremis. Bremis, thank you, honey, for being here. Another follower, another woman that has been all the time helping and being there. Another member of the community. Thank you very much. You know, when you start like doing things like that, you have these angels, ambassadors, these people that follow you regardless. And I call them like stars because they're like stars. You don't see them all the time, but they're there. They're there. You know they're there for you. So Bremis is another one of those people for me. And Gisela, thank you very much for being here with us. And please, just is you say goodbye and leave a message for this audience.
Well, I feel that the only way that everything that individuals like ourselves, like Freddie, and all those others that are out there helping to better the lives of people, the only way that we are going to be successful in this is if this message is really taken to the thousands of people. Here's a recording. Please share it with the next person, pay it forward, say, hey, check this out. All these projects that we have, myself, I have a couple of things also going on. Put it forward. Make sure that others are listening, whether you're listening to it right now, whether you're listening to it later. Make sure that it's shared. And ultimately, in the deals of finance, we have to be sure to be ready there too. We have just gone through a pandemic and we survived, thank goodness. But we don't know what's next. And I'm not one to talk about negativity. I always think that positivity is the rule of the day. But I like to prepare myself for anything negative that comes into my life. Are
Amen.
you doing the same? That's the message. Are you doing the same? Join in with us. We're here to help you. You're not alone. Let's go ahead and take this to a roaring future. Thank you, Freddie.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Lee. Excellent message. I really love being with you here. I had a lot of fun with you on in the Spanish one last this week on Tuesday and today as well. So thank you to our audience, Bremis, Alvaro, and all those people that whether if you didn't make it to see us live, you're gonna be able to see this video later on. And remember, if you have any questions, you can reach out, you can call us, you can reach out to us in social media, whatever. And you saw the right there, roaringfuture.com, and also freddiePiedraitacoach.com. And you see what we're doing, what we're about, and we will be more than glad to answer your questions. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend and live life with passion.
Yes. Awesome.
Yes, 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 yes.
You always make me feel like, yeah.